Today we're going to look at comparing and contrasting theme on page 20 and 21 in the Grab and Go. So we have two secure skills. Describe how the themes were developed in both stories and compare and contrast the development of the themes, as well as a developing skill, compare and contrast the development of the themes in two different genres. So the vocab that we need is develop, and that means to grow a story by using elements of fiction, and genre, a category of music or literature categorized by similarities in form, style, or subject matter. So we need to read the following two stories. They have a common theme. Underline in green the elements of fiction that help you determine the theme. Star the elements of fiction that are similar. And common themes that we might look for are acceptance, courage, loyalty, compassion, kindness, perseverance, honesty, and cooperation. So the first one, Aesop's Fable, the Shepherd Boy. There once was a young shepherd boy who tended to his sheep at the foot of the mountain near a dark forest. It was rather lonely for him all day long, so he thought upon a plan which he could get a little company and some excitement. He rushed down towards the village, calling out, "Wolf, wolf!" and the villagers came to meet him. Some of them stopped him for a considerable time. This pleased the boy so much that a few days afterwards he tried the same trick, and again the villagers came to his help. But shortly after the wolf actually did come out from the forest and began to worry the sheep, and the boy, of course, cried out, "Wolf, wolf!" still louder than before. But this time the villagers, who had been fooled twice before, thought the boy was again deceiving them, and no one stirred to come to his help. So the wolf made a good meal off of the boy's flock, and when the boy complained, the wise man of the village said, "A liar will not be believed, even when he speaks the truth." So I think this one has a pretty clear theme. So let's go ahead and start underlining in green the things that, and I'm going to highlight here, tell us what the theme is. So we have a shepherd boy. That's important. And it was rather lonely for him all day, so he thought upon a plan which he could get a little company and some excitement. And he did that by calling out, "Wolf, wolf, wolf." And then that worked out for him, so he tried the same trick of being a liar. And again the villagers came, but the wolf actually did come then. And the boy again cried out, "Wolf, wolf, wolf." But this time, no one came to help him. And then I think right down here, this end part really goes to it. A liar will not be believed even when he speaks the truth. So this one, at least, is all about honesty. So let's look at a second one, an African folktale, The Man Who Never Lied. Once upon a time, there lived a wise man by the name of Mohammed. He never lied. All the people in the land, even the ones who lived 20 days away, knew about him. The king heard about Mohammed and ordered his subjects to bring him to the palace. He looked at the wise man and asked, "Mohammed, is it true that you have never lied?" "It is true." "And you will never lie in your life?" "I am sure of that." "Okay, tell the truth, but be careful. A lie is cunning and gets on your tongue easily." Several days passed, and the king called Mohammed once again. There was a big crowd, and the king was about to go hunting. The king held his horse by the mane. Left foot was already in the stirrup. He ordered Mohammed, "Go to my summer palace and tell the queen I will be with her for lunch. Tell her to prepare a big feast. You will have lunch with me then." Mohammed bowed down and went to the queen. The king laughed and said, "We won't go hunting, and now Mohammed will lie to the queen. Tomorrow we will laugh on his behalf." But the wise Mohammed went to the palace and said, "Maybe you should prepare a big feast for lunch tomorrow, and maybe you shouldn't. Maybe the king will come by noon, and maybe he won't." "Well, tell me, will he come or won't he?" asked the queen. "I don't know whether he put his right foot into the stirrup or if he put his left foot on the ground after I left." Everyone waited for the king. He came the next day and said to the queen, "The wise Mohammed, who never lies, lied to you yesterday." But the queen told him about the words of Mohammed, and the king realized that a wise man never lies and says only that which he saw with his own eyes. So we will start with how Mohammed never lied. And that kind of gets repeated a number of times here. But then let's get to the next important part, was that the king ordered Muhammad, and he told him the lie that he wanted him to tell. So go to my summer palace and tell the queen I will be with her for lunch. Tell her to prepare the big feast. You will have lunch with me then. So after that, oops. Muhammad said, the king said, we're not actually going to do what I told him we were going to do. So tomorrow we can laugh at him. But Muhammad, the wise Muhammad, went ahead to the palace and told the queen, maybe you should make a big lunch tomorrow. And maybe you shouldn't. Maybe the king will come by noon. And maybe he won't. So then the queen wants to know, well, what's going on? And he says, well, I can't tell you. Because I don't know whether he put his right foot in the stirrup or he put his left foot on the ground after I left. And in the end, the wise Muhammad who never lies lied to you yesterday, the king came and said. But the queen said, I told him about the words of Muhammad. And the king realized that a wise man never lies and says only that which he saw with his own eyes. So there we go. We have two stories that gave a bunch of details that tell us about honesty. The theme in both of them is how honesty is important. And the last thing that I want to do is star the elements of fiction that are similar. And in this story, it really is just the lesson itself about how lying is not a good thing. So I'm going to put stars right there for both of them with the liars and the not liars. So now I'm going to take what we highlighted here and we're going to add this to the graphic organizers on the next page. So if we look at the characters, in Aesop's Fable, we have the young people and the young shepherd and the townspeople. And in the African tale, we have the wise men Muhammad, the king and queen. For the problem in The Shepherd's Boy is that the shepherd keeps lying to the town by calling wolf. And here, in The Man Who Never Lied, we have a wise man doesn't lie and the king wants to catch him in a lie. And how it's solved in the end. In the end, they don't want to be tricked again, so no one comes to help him when there really is a wolf and the wolf eats all the sheep. And when we look over here at the man who didn't lie, the king sets him to unknowingly tell a lie. Muhammad is careful with his words and doesn't fall for the trick. So when we go then to look at both stories, to write this up, to write it into sentences, what we can say, don't move. I don't want to do that. Yes, there we go with those words. In both stories, the theme is that we should be honest. In Aesop's Fable, The Shepherd Boy, the boy doesn't tell the truth when it is safe. Then, when the flock is in danger, no one wants to come to help. And in the African folktale, The Man Who Never Lied, Muhammad tells the truth even when the king tries to trick him into lying. So there we are looking at comparing and contrasting, similar theme in two separate stories.